Happy Tuesday, my friends. It's Kurt Berglund's demo preview. What has Kurt learned this week segment that we do every Tuesday. And we have a special one for you today. But before we do that, are you finding your meals to be a little bit bland these days? Is all this eating in from COVID getting you down? Well, I have just the thing to spice up your meals, my friends. It's Market Street Classics Chunk Chicken Breast in a bag. That's right. All the chicken goodness you could want, or close to it, in a bag. It's good for you, and it tastes delicious. Let's look at the nutrition facts, shall we? Total fat, no problem. First of all, 2 ounces of this goodness. Let's talk about 2 ounces. You could almost spit as much as their nutrition facts cover. 4% of your total fat, 3% of your saturated fat for the day, 8% of your cholesterol, and my favorite, 160 milligrams of sodium in just 2 ounces. You're going to work up a man-sized thirst eating this stuff, my friends, and the taste is delicious. All right. Today, I have a special announcement to make. Been working on this project for about 3 months, and we are ready to launch. It's the Pine Tar Baseball Great Teams of the 20th Century set that I have been working on since, well, before the holidays, so almost 3 months now. What did we do? Well, we took each decade from the 20th century and we selected at least one team from each decade that represents excellence in that decade. Might be the best team of the decade, would at least certainly be in the discussion. 22 teams available for you starting on Friday, this Friday, in PDF form. The 22 teams would be are $12.99 to my PayPal account, which I'm going to give you the address, the ID in just a minute. We're going to talk about all 22 teams in this video. I'm going to show you what the cards look like so you know what you're getting. And we'll talk about some of the players that make the set pretty incredible. And I'm certainly excited about using it on my own tabletop as we get close to baseball season now. First, about the teams. When I card teams for Pine Tar Baseball, and I carded all these teams myself, I start out by doing a little research on the team. I do some reading. Might be online, might be in book form, might be both. And then we start looking at the data. Then we create the cards based on what the data tells us, but also trying to capture the feel of the team based on what I've read in the research that I've done about all 22 teams. So, what we're going to do in this video is to go through what the set is, what it looks like, how you can get it, and a little bit about each of the teams. So let's get started. First, let's start with the PayPal address. It's berglund.kurt@yahoo.com. That's the PayPal account. $12.99 gets you the PDF. Now, we are in the process of creating printed sets. However, the wait time for those is extended. So what we're talking about there, and I'm going to give you more information about that later in the week, but I'm taking bids for the printers to print these sets for us. And basically, you place the order, and in 3 to 4 weeks, you will get your set of cards. Not ready with a price yet because we have to calculate all that, but if you're interested in getting the set quickly, PDF is the way to go, and that will be shipped on Friday. You can send your payment now, or you can send it later, but the first wave of PDF shipments will go out on Friday. All right, let's talk about the set. What I wanted to do when we created the set, I wanted to capture the 20th century and how baseball changed and how baseball excellence changed over that period of time. The title of the set is called The Great Teams of the 20th Century. And I think you'll find in the research that I did about what really are the greatest baseball teams of this century, of the 20th century, I tried to get them all on here. The big heavy hitters that the historians talk about are in this set. There's also some teams in it that are excellent teams, may not be one of the very best teams of the 20th century, but certainly are in the discussion. All right, so first, remember this is Pine Tar Baseball. If you are interested in Pine Tar Baseball, but you don't have the instructions, let me know. And again, you can send me an email at berglund.kurt@yahoo.com right there, and I will send out the instructions to you, and you can try out the game for yourself for free. All right. This is my email. This is also my PayPal ID. So if you are trying to make a payment, that's the account that you are looking for. The cost for the PDF is $12.99. You can pay now. You can pay anytime through Friday and get it on Friday, or you can pay at your leisure. On Saturday, I will send out an email about printed sets. If you're interested in finding out more about the printed sets, send me an email and tell me that, and I will include you in my mass email that I send out about printed sets. All right, let's talk about the teams. This is the list, and we'll go through this list sort of 2 by 2 because I made 2 columns. So, first, let me find a better sheet here to do the discussion. There we go. All right, first 2 teams on the list, the 02 Pirates. 1902 Pirates predate the World Series. However, they won 70% of their games. They featured Honus Wagner as the big name of the team, but they had an awful lot of stars on that team, and they dominated the competition. They stole talent from other teams and basically became the dominant team of the first decade of the 20th century, and arguably this is the greatest team ever. Some writers say that it is. Cross here, the 1971 Orioles did not win the World Series. They did not win the World Series. However, they took the 1971 Pirates to 7 games, and they featured 4 20-game winners: Jim Palmer, Dave McNally, Mike Cuellar, and Pat Dobson. They also feature such players as Frank Robinson, Boog Powell, Paul Blair, and Brooks Robinson. Amazing, amazing teams. All right, the next 2 in the set, the 1910 Athletics and the 1973 Mets. The 1910 Athletics were Connie Mack's probably his best team. Chief Bender, Eddie Plank, Home Run Baker are all stars on that team, and they were World Series winners. The 1973 Mets were the National League champions who defeated the Cincinnati Reds in 5 hard-fought NLCS games, and then took a very famous, very talented 1973 Oakland A's team to 7 games in the World Series before losing in Game 7. They feature stars like Tom Seaver, Cleon Jones, Tug McGraw, and, of course, Willie Mays in his final season. Next, it's the 1927 Yankees. Lots of writers are still saying that this is the best team of all time. Winners of the 1927 World Series in 4 games over the Pittsburgh Pirates. A very not competitive World Series. This team featured players like Babe Ruth, who hit 60 homers, Lou Gehrig, and on the mound, Waite Hoyt. For the 74 Dodgers, they were the National League champions in 1974 and favored to win the World Series after winning 102 games in the regular season. They won the National League West handily over an excellent Cincinnati Reds team in 1974. Then they won the National League Championship Series in 4 and took the A's to a very hard-fought World Series. Even though it only went 5 games, all the games were close, and they were favored going into the World Series. They feature stars like Steve Garvey, who is the MVP, Andy Messersmith, Don Sutton, and Mike Marshall, who appeared in 106 games as a relief pitcher and pitched 208 innings. Amazing season for him. All right, next up, the 1929 Philadelphia Athletics, another Connie Mack team, and the 1975 Boston Red Sox. The 29 Athletics are an amazing offensive team. They also feature Lefty Grove on the mound, Al Simmons, Jimmy Fox. But this team beats your brains in with offense, and there are folks that think that this is the best team of all time. It was featured in a Sports Illustrated that came out, I want to say 20 years ago now, 25 years ago, as a great team that you've never heard of. The 75 Red Sox, of course, took the 75 Reds to 7 games in their World Series. This is one of the most famous teams of the 70s. Carlton Fisk, Jim Rice, Carl Yastrzemski, Louis Tiant, all stars on that team. Carlton Fisk, in his Hall of Fame induction speech, said that they won the 1975 World Series over the Reds 3-4. And, of course, they were the winners of that famous Game 6. Next, the 1938 Cubs were the National League champions. This Cub team is the team that Gabby Hartnett hit the homer in the Gloman to take the first place lead from the Pittsburgh Pirates on September 29th of that season. And eventually they won the pennant. They went on to lose the World Series to the 1938 New York Yankees in 4 straight. Stars on this team include Gabby Hartnett, Bill Lee, not that Bill Lee, a different Bill Lee, Charlie Root, and Dizzy Dean, who was pitching after his arm injury, trying to make his comeback, and was amazingly effective for the Cubs, just pitching on guts. The 1980 Phillies, I think, is one of the underrated teams in the set. They feature 3 megastars of 1980, Steve Carlton, who was the Cy Young winner, Mike Schmidt, who was the MVP, and Tug McGraw, who had an incredible year out of the bullpen. Dallas Green took over as manager of this team late in the 79 season, and then sort of whipped him into shape for 1980 and made some personnel changes. Didn't make a lot of friends, but did lead the team to a World Series victory in 6 games over the Kansas City Royals. Pete Rose, Manny Trio, Larry Boa, Bake McBride, Gary Maddox, Greg Luzinski, all on this team as well. All right, next 2 teams, the 1939 New York Yankees. Dominant from start to finish. Some writers believe this team is better than the 27 Yankees, the best team of all time. Others will say, no, maybe it's... Nobody seems to think the 39 Yankees are any worse than the 3rd best team in Yankee history. Joe DiMaggio and Lefty Gomez were the huge stars on the team, but there were a lot of them. Red Ruffing, Joe Gordon, Red Rolfe, Bill Dickey, a lot of stars on the 39 Yankees. Truly dominant team. The 1982 Brewers were also an offensive juggernaut in their time. 215 home runs for the team. 5 Hall of Famers, Robin Yount, Paul Molitor, Rollie Fingers, Don Sutton, and Ted Simmons, 20% of the ball club Hall of Famers. 95 wins, and took the Cardinals to 7 games in the World Series, despite the fact that they had injuries to their left fielder, their center fielder, and Rollie Fingers, their reliever, that diminished their performances. Next 2 teams, the 1942 Cardinals and the 1982 Atlanta Braves. 42 Cardinals, a lot of serious writers say this is the best team of all time. Dominated the Yankees in the World Series, beat them in 5 games. Stan Musial, Enos Slaughter, probably the 2 biggest names. Marty Marion, also on the team. They could beat you a lot of different ways, and the pitching was outstanding. So I read several articles that said that this is the best Cardinals team of all time. And after creating the cards, I'm not sure they're wrong. The Cardinals have a great history, of course, but I could not find a team that I was convinced was better than this group from 1942 in terms of the Cardinals franchise. 82 Braves, America's team. Ted Turner, Joe Torre, winners of 13 in a row to start the season. Went on to win the National League West, lost in the NLCS to the St. Louis Cardinals. Stars on this team include Dale Murphy, Bob Horner, Phil Niekro, Gene Garber, Steve Bedrosian. Excellent defense and clutch hitting. A lot of ways to beat you with this team, too. A deep bullpen helped them a lot as well. Next, the 1955 Brooklyn Dodgers, who finally got over the hump and defeated the New York Yankees for the World Series for the first Dodger championship in Brooklyn. The stars of the team include Jackie Robinson, Duke Snider, Gil Hodges, Pee Wee Reese, Roy Campanella, and on the mound, Don Newcomb, Carl Erskine, Clem Labine. A lot of big names from the 50s on this team, and clearly have the chops to be an excellent part of this set. The 1989 Oakland Athletics were Tony La Russa's first World Series championship as manager. They defeated the San Francisco Giants in the Earthquake Series 4-0. Jose Canseco, Mark McGwire, Dave Stewart, Dennis Eckersley, Dave Henderson, Carney Lansford, all big names on this team. An amazingly talented group of players. And And right above them, we skipped the 84 Tigers. Sparky Anderson was the manager in 84 of the Tigers. And Sparky, this might have been Sparky's best team. Kirk Gibson, probably the star of the team. Trammell and Whitaker up the middle. Lance Parrish behind the plate. Jack Morris and Willie Hernandez on the mound. 35-5 start for the Tigers. So we have quite a collection of teams from the 80s here to run against some of these other best teams of all time. Two more, the 59 White Sox, the Go-Go Sox, Louis Aparicio, Nellie Fox, Early Wynn, Jim Landis, Sherm Lawler, a very deep pitching staff, a lot of team speed, good team defense, and a lot of pitching. It will be an interesting mix for the rest of these teams to take on. They lost to the Los Angeles Dodgers in the 59 series in 6 games. But they were a tough team, and I think they're going to be an important part of this set as well. Across from them are the the 95 Atlanta Braves, winners of the 95 World Series over the Cleveland Indians in 6 games. Smoltz, Glavine, and Maddox on the mound. Offensively, Chipper Jones, Dave Justice, Marquise Grissom, and Javi Lopez, all big offensive stars for this team, as well Fred McGriff. All right, and finally, the 61 Yankees had a vote. They got included, and it's hard to argue with that. Maris and Mantle, M&M boys, Whitey Ford on the mound, Louis Arroyo out of the bullpen, dominated their season, and even with Mantle limited in the World Series, the Yankees still defeated the Reds in 5. The 98 Yankees, considered by many to be the best ever, probably Joe Torre's best team. 98 Yankees featured players like Andy Pettitte, David Cone, David Wells, Mariano Rivera, and offensively, Derek Jeter, Tino Martinez, Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill, Tim Raines. Just goes on and on and on and on. And last but not least, the 69 Mets. Miracle Mets, another Tom Seaver team, defeated a highly favored 69 Orioles team for the World Series in 5 games in 1969. Seaver, Jones, Agee, Koosman, McGraw, all big names on that team. So these are the 22 teams that you get as part of the great teams of the 20th century set. But that's not all you get, because if you tell me that you need game instructions for Pine Tar Baseball, I will send you the link for those for free as well. You can download those for free. And if you haven't had enough great teams, I've created the 1986 Red Sox that I will also include for you for free as well if you want them. Just ask. So the instructions are free for the asking. The 86 Red Sox also free for the asking. How do you get it? You get it again by sending me a PayPal payment to berglund.kurt@yahoo.com. The price is $12.99. And I sent it out on Friday. On Saturday, the email goes out to everybody who asks about the printed sets and how to get those. But again, we're more than a month out from being able to say that those will be in your hands. I can say that if you order them, and I will give ordering information in this email on Saturday for the printed sets. But if you are interested in a printed set, and you send payment promptly, we can probably tell you that you're going to get that before April 1st. And but again, the way to get this immediately, or at least on Friday, is the PDF version for $12.99. In the time to come that remains this week, I'm going to be doing some preview games of this set. Show you what the cards look like. Oh, wanted to show you what the cards look like. If you order the PDF, the cards come on sheets that look like this. This is a combination sheet of the 1929 Philadelphia Athletics and the 1939 New York Yankees. And these are the PDF versions of the game. If you order the printed set, those will come on perforated sheets. So this is what these look like. The rest of this week, I'll be doing some preview games with the teams in the set. You can get a look at the cards and see what they look like and how they play on my tabletop. And then on Friday, for everybody that orders between now and Friday, on Friday, the PDFs go out to your email, and you can print and start rolling. Don't forget, if you need the instructions, all you have to do is ask, and I will send those to you as well. My email is berglund.kurt@yahoo.com, and we'll set you up with the game, 22 great teams, a 23rd great team in the 1986 Boston Red Sox, and all of that for $12.99. Pretty good deal. Hope you've enjoyed this. Please subscribe to stay on top of all of the previews that I'll be doing this week for this set. I'm proud of this work. I know you'll enjoy it. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Have a good evening. So long, everybody.